renters and where they're renting. That's all I need.
Yeah,
I do not want the rest of that information. I just felt it was,
That's all public record.
Yeah.
They're outlined.
right, and then once it's there, so I pulled that back, so.
Yeah, the only list we were operating of was a simple list that just said if we knew they were in the resident order.
Right.
And so we cleaned that up on our end, and we're looking forward to the next step of that process.
Right, because Dennis is supposed to be getting me a list of the homeowners and their addresses and the renters and their addresses.
Yeah,
So-
and we have the first draft of the actual application for the
Okay.
association put together as well.
Good, thank you. Go ahead.
Looking at the
Curious,
next
real
month.
quick, I know we do have some residents that are law enforcement and/or public figures that do not have that information published.
Right.
How do we make sure we, stay within those guidelines? Because I'm assuming the HOA would have their information.
They do, and that's, and speaking with,
If I can just jump in real quickly.
Sure.
I'm sorry, I have to hop off in about 10 minutes, but to the extent that the district operates, maintains, or the master operates, maintains an access control operation security on behalf of the district, those records, access control and security are generally exempt from public records law. But also as to law enforcement, there are about 20 some odd categories of individuals that can keep their information confidential and exempt, but they have to, for other records, but they have to request it. We have a form template that we'll be updating after this legislative session where people can request that their information be exempt and confidential, and that can go in the file.
okay. Thank you, Tony.
Yeah, I just brought it up because obviously we want to make sure we're in compliance with that.
Absolutely.
No, that's a good point, Chris. Thank you for that. I appreciate that, Chris. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, just as a thing about here, I've been working with Tony on this form, and essentially what I'm going to do is put the bonus on the resident to renew their discount during contribution on the annual basis, 21st and 8th. Tony does have really good coverage in there, so I think I'm going to and there's probably a racial modification right on that. So you're just getting emails in the last 24 hours. But I think Randy can find a really good solution for what you're concerned about.
Okay. For those of you who didn't hear, Adam has been working with Tony on this form and with Kyle, so that in order to get the resident discount, it's up to you to get this form completed. So, because we have obviously lost a tremendous amount of money going through the list, there's people that no longer live here but still play golf, or they're no longer renters here but they still play golf. So with that being said, that they're working on this form, and the onus now is going to be on the resident to prove that they're a resident. And it'll be noted on the system, so when it comes in, Phil Simonson comes in, he's a resident, and get the resident rate. So
What happens if Phil Simonson, for example, just to use you, were to book for a full tea time and pay for 4?
we need to know the 4 people that are playing. Are they all residents? So I can't come in and have my brother, sister-in-law, and my nephew play with me, because I would pay the resident.
They can play, they just can't play
At the resident
Resident
rate. So yes, we're working on a system to that, because other people have done that.
Yes, that's what I'll make sure that loophole gets.
Yes, they're sealing up the loophole, and they're working with Golf now to seal that up, because other people have done that, and people that no longer live here come in with a foursome and get all the 4 resident rates. So we're tightening that up.
You caught me. Sorry.
I think in that scenario too, Kyle confirmed, don't we get kind of a guest rate, kind of like the group rate or something, and things like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's working on that, and he'll have all the new rates and everything out for all of us.
Correct.
Okay, thank
I
you.
know I've done that before, and I got obviously resident rate, and then the people I brought in, I know they didn't get a special rate. It wasn't a resident rate, but they did get a.
Right, I think it's the group rate.
Yeah, correct.
Yes.
Yeah, our guest rate, our group rate.
Okay, I'm sorry, Kyle, I keep interrupting you.
Nope, don't be apologizing at all. Again, just looking at some of the projects we got moving forward, we have the bridge construction. I've been in the emails with Don and Adam. We're still on track for July 8th and 19th for those bridges on the front nine. We have the T-sheet prepared and to utilize a crossover just off the back nine. And we think we're pretty well on target for everything to happen there. We hope to get the pro shop painted during either the bridge or at least the back end of that with the aerification. The pro shop repainted next month as well. We're looking into some quotes to update the remote bathrooms as far as lights, floors, and stuff like that. And then the other big thing I've been working on is with the actual systems. Working with Sean from Golf Now, figuring out how we could better utilize Golf Now systems from the marketing, T-sheet utilization. We have been investigating other point-of-sale systems as well for Lightspeed Golf, such. Just getting an idea of what's out there, what tools maybe we're not using or haven't been using. One of the things we have been working really hard on is a new price model. I'm going to be advocating to the board that we move that public rate to a dynamic price. I do like the idea of a fixed rate for groups, guests, and residents, and I'll continue to advocate for a low rate for the residents as well. All else I have to comment on would be on the Gusto payroll system. I thought that payroll system not only could save us some money, but it looked like there's a lot of other functionalities that would really benefit a golf operation with its, just some of the utilizations of pay on spot, stuff like that. That's really all I got.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? No.
Kyle, how many
Hey, Eileen.
Hold on one second, Chris.
sets of rentals clubs do we have?
Currently have 14, but I would say none of those are complete. I probably only have about 8 that are fully intact.
Don't we have them some on order?
I have no clue what that situation is at the moment.
Yes, we do.
Do we need that many rental sets? Because I'm
I would
looking at
say
the
we do.
revenue and what they cost.
I would
It's
say
not
we
mentioned.
do, just because of, we do have had days, and even in the part-time that I've been working, I've had days where I've sold every single set, both on the men's and ladies' side. We get a tremendous amount of.
What are we
walk-in
charging
play.
to rent?
45 per set for the day. So if they wanted to do a replay, they're still keeping that same set.
Because I'm looking at the budget and we're under budget for rental clubs.
Yeah, I mean, I can comment on some of the budget stuff as well. You know, on the rental clubs, I can't comment on that yet. I'm just not educated.
Can you check into that?
I certainly
Yeah,
can.
could you contact other clubs to see what they're charging and what kind of clubs they have? And the one thing I'll say, and I'm just going to go back to the inventory, I know that Tyler and Kyle have been working on the inventory. At this point in time, I've told them, don't order anything, don't accept anything. Let's, if something is on automatic order, let's hold it. Let's find out what we have. Let's get a valid inventory and not accept any orders or receive anything at this point in time. I need to get a valid inventory, and I think the auditors are going to want that as well. So at this point in time, contact all your vendors, all your sales reps. We're not ordering anything, we're not accepting anything until we get the valid inventory all taken care of. Okay?
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, we have made that step too. We reached out to all of our reps.
Okay.
Meeting with a couple of them pretty soon as well.
Okay, good.
And can you look into a second ball machine?
Yeah, I'm actually, that's something I should have had on this list. I'm deep into investigations on a bigger and better ball machine with a better UI. We have a really big issue with that credit card transponder. I'd really like to get something that's got like that tap function.
Yeah.
And it's just bigger. It doesn't have to be filled as much. Just going through some of the staffing issues.
Okay.
That's definitely
Especially as
something
much as we're using the range.
Yeah.
Will it be-
Are we ever going to use the grass again?
As a conversation I'll have with John, I don't think we should. We get top-end mats.
Then why don't we
And we do a
move-
good job keeping up
If
with
that's
them.
the case, why don't we move the mats forward?
Yeah.
So
We can
we don't,
utilize that space.
so the balls go into the water and not all
Yeah.
on the front of the tee.
Yeah, that's something we
You
could
don't
certainly.
have much distance in the back. I mean, a lot of guys can pump the ball.
No, nobody can at Open Lake.
No, they're in it pretty far.
Nobody can hit it over.
And then you gotta imagine too, all your guys are gonna be slicing more into 10 and 18.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you, nobody can hit it.
One
Well,
thing I
it's
will
safer
comment-
than the people that have been
Not with
sitting in
the-
the tent,
One
and
thing I'll
someone
say
shakes
about
and it's
that-
It's gonna cost a lot of money to move those mats for it. I mean, the concrete alone was 20 grand.
Well, only if
So
we're
you
gonna
gotta think about probably 50
only if we're
now.
gonna
One at a
use the
time.
space. Well, that's a lot of square footage there that we could use for something else, like a putting green, or in the future, if we decide when we do our renovation, we're gonna move that putting green over.
Like the corner over there by the 10. where the 10
Maybe move it there where the
Yeah.
10 is, or what have you. Maybe we put a pavilion in front of the range, in front of the tee box, but
One thing I'll say
How would
on
you
that
hit
too,
balls?
we still have those lights
in front of the lake.
as well. And
But you should put the pavilion in front.
No, it'd be right.
You mean in the back
The lake
side?
is here, the tee box would be here, and then the pavilion would be here. Where the current tee box
Yes,
is, where the mats are.
Okay.
something else that I think that you would consider with that, where it is currently at, and the lights too, with the new ball machines that are out there, we could open that range back up at night again. And there, the market for Topgolf is huge, and we could cut into that. We have a similar product at a fraction of the price. And if we work with Duffy's at all, we could really do something there.
I mean, there's a potential there for more revenue, but the potential is you got people drinking and hitting balls, and we don't have staff out there monitoring it. And it gets out of hand, glasses being left over, you know what I mean, and
You have to put dividers up as well.
dividers, things of that nature. Yeah.
Well, that's something else I talked to Kyle about, that, you currently close at 5 o'clock. I'm kind of thinking, since we still have people out there, that
I think
maybe
we're 6 in the summertime.
6, okay.
Yeah.
All
We
right.
should be open until the last person comes off the golf course.
Well, I kind of feel that way too, so,
Because if something happens out there, who does anyone call if there's no one in the pro shop?
Nobody there needs.
well, the Rangers are there, and that's another reason why you all have this list, so that the Rangers all know who to call. And yes, I do agree that they should be out, they should be at the pro shop a little longer. So, we can discuss timing and staffing. Okay.
I got one comment if I may. And that is, with the sales reports that you're sending out, I think they're hugely informative and proactive. And when I look at the sales volume for July through yesterday, we have already exceeded our June numbers for 23, for days to be 40% ahead of June last year. So, whatever you're doing in there, keep it up. And appreciate your things.
Thank you.
Okay, and did you all hear that?
No.
Okay, we're ahead of our June numbers for budget and over last year by, 40%?
Yeah.
And that, we need to keep that up, and so we're ahead of it, and Adam said, whatever you're doing, keep it up. I think updating the pro shop and just working and getting out there and talking to the people and doing the right thing is helping, so.
Thank you.
Okay.
Kyle, what's the difference between a league and a group?
There isn't one, and that's something you're going to see in the new price model.
What do you have to,
What's gonna be the
what's the criteria to be a group?
16 or more.
Right. What's the criteria to be a league?
You have to be ran through the golf court, the golf shop.
Okay.
So we have the Wednesdays league that we operate with Ron Ritchell.
Yes,
Yeah,
How many-
Ron Ritchell, thank you. And
the Women's Wednesday League.
the Wednesdays league, the ladies, and then the Saturdays men's league as well.
How many groups do we have? Do you know?
Yeah,
Tyler,
I
how
don't
many?
have that information in front of me,
We have around like 15.
15?
and they're bringing at least 16 or more every week.
All right.
3 leagues?
Okay. All right. That it, Kyle?
I have something.
Yes, Chris.
I just wanted to bring this to the attention of the board, and I was going to send an email out last week, and obviously things turned. I got a call, I don't even remember what day it is now, but about a week ago from the pro shop, and asking if I could contact Jeff Nixon because he had taken his hard drive, the his office hard drive when he left. I don't know if anybody was aware of that. I certainly wasn't, and I was a bit shocked by it. I got in contact with Jeff, and the premise is, and Kyle can allude to it as well, you know, apparently there was certain information on that hard drive that they did not have. I contacted Jeff, and he said, you know, I took the hard drive, and kind of had a conversation, like, well, number one, why, but, you know, and then he kind of went down and said, well, I think it might be my hard drive, and I said, well, I can't prove or disprove that statement, but I find it hard to believe that you brought in your own hard drive, but I don't know. I said, the bottom line is, we need the hard drive, please bring it back. In his defense as well, he said, Chris, you know, with his medical condition, he said, while I was at work, sometimes I was filling out some medical information. I'm afraid there might be information on this hard drive that could compromise me. And I said, I get it, but at the same time, we need it back.
Well, that's our proprietary information on it, too.
I'm sorry?
I said, that's our proprietary info on that hard drive as well.
Correct.
Exactly. So we had that whole conversation. He brought it back. Kyle has it. Kyle used it. And I think we're okay. Obviously being sort of trying to be neutral, but also trying to, obviously representing the district, is kind of like, look, I respect the fact that you might have some stuff on there, but as I think that was the law said, there's probably some proprietary information on there too that doesn't need to get out, so we have to protect ourselves.
Right, and he should have deleted all his personal
We
stuff.
have the hard drive, you know,
Okay.
Jeff continued to give the concern that, you know, I have my own, you know, and I told him, I said, well, that was your call, you shouldn't have done it.
Right.
Anyway. But bottom line is, we got the hard drive back, we have it. I told Kyle, when we're done with it, and we don't need it, I would be willing to take on the responsibility of destroying that hard drive so that Jeff's information is protected and we're protected as well. But anyway, I just felt it was important that I bring that up so at least everybody's aware of it. And that's about it. Kyle, if you have any comments, make them.
Yeah, just to be clear on that, all we needed was information for like vendor login portals and stuff. Some vendors are completely online, and there were no emails between that I could find. And again, we're just trying to find out who we owe money
Right.
and what's their inventory is at. So that's all I really needed it for.
Okay, and there should be prior budget stuff on there that you needed to look at as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, and if there's anything that pops up that's Jeff's, put it in a file,
Pay no
get rid of it.
attention to at all, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Chris.
Hey, just on that same topic, I mean, the hard drive is one thing, but there's going to be access to their systems. And also, maybe if you get a minute, take note, you know, of what those systems are, but now these phone systems and other, or like, what does he need access to? And it's probably worth, you know, doing a cleanup on that. They keep about that on the, whatever it is, right? You know, but I think we can probably do all of it, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yep, that's good.
okay. One other question for you, Kyle. Have you changed the calls for the alarms?
Yeah.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. When Jeff was in the hospital, I was number one on the alarm calls, and I just wanted to be off of that. Thank you. Okay. The next is the Golf Now. Sean, would you like to come up and talk to us? This is, you can introduce yourself. Adam and Tyler and Kyle had a meeting with Sean with regard to Golf Now, all the things they could offer us, and what we're not using, what we could use, and different aspects about the contract. So I'm going to let Sean explain to the board where this all stands. And
Yeah, perfect opening. For those that don't know me, my name's Sean Roberts. I'm the market sales manager for Golf Now. Been doing it for about 12 years. Jack Leonard's our area sales manager for Florida, so figured I'd bring him along as well. In front of you, I put together a presentation and printed it out for y'all to take home too. Actually sat with the golf committee and Adam a couple weeks ago and kind of chatted about some ideas. Our mantra as a company this year is level up. So I figured it just goes well with this, situation we're in where, hey, Jeff's been here a long time. I've worked closely with him. New chapter, new page, right? How do we move forward? So for the sake of time, I'll move through this pretty quickly because you can get a lot on your agenda, so to speak. But it started off with kind of an all-time revenue graph. So you all, Golf Now and Stony Brook joined partnership in 2010. So need to see over the years the growth in revenue from the 43,000 to the 1.1 million, last year, and pacing to have another great year together. Next included some online performance year to date, year over year. So we are, Jack and I, as we, visit our course partners around Florida, we kind of do these health checks every couple weeks or so, or monthly, and meet with course operators like yourself and talk about how rounds are doing in revenue as well as the revenue per round. So in short, you're up in rounds, 41.29, you're up in revenue, and a nice jump in average rate too compared to previous years. So seeing that within the market as well, so you're trending in the right direction.
What is Answers?
Answers is a reservation center. So, and that's where the topic in this kind of committee meeting, so to speak, is Answers, right? Because your phone tree changed recently. So we used to pick up the phone for you all. As soon as the number would go right to the res center, and then our specialists would answer the phone on your behalf. You all control the script, and then, they go from there to help the golfers book the rounds or form transfer to the golf shop. So I broke out Answers performance totals. This is 22 through year-to-date 24, so you can see last year almost $400,000 was booked through the res center for Stony Brook Estero, and it's trending in the right direction, I'd say. I think the goal is now, after the committee meeting, which I'll get to at the end of this presentation, is probably maybe switch to staff on demand, which is more of a rollover. So, because it sounds like the idea is you all want the staff in the golf shop be in the front lines to answer first, and then if they can't get to it, it'll, go over to the rest side. So just wanted to break out those issues for you.
But after hours, it would go directly to the reservation center?
Yep, so shop closes, brings over to Answers. So, you're covered. So next slide is a list of all the current products that we're doing together. So obviously you're on golfnow.com. You're using our Golf 365 Pro full system, which is the cloud-based T-sheet point of sale. Working with the new, regime, so to speak, to get them refresher trainings, get them caught up. We'll work with support to reconfigure some certain items in regards to like that resident tracking and inventory. So that's where we come in to make sure the golf stock is in good shape there. Talked about Answers. You're also on Golf Now Payments credit card processing. Number 5, I think you all need to circle because we can do a better job working with Christine, who's your inventory specialist. Nothing against Jeff. I don't think he really leaned into this as much as we believe he should have. So we can lean on Christine to...
Christine?
So Christine is the inventory specialist that's assigned to your account. She's out of Orlando. Sorry. Good question. So her main goal is to work with your golf staff and help implement and strategize pricing strategies. And then from there, like you hit it in your report, talk about dynamic pricing, like how do we implement a strategy and let it run from there.
And that's already part of our plan, or we're just not utilizing it?
Yeah, just it's more of like she'll send a report or an email and say, hey, I'm seeing this, and then just never really,
And she would be working directly with Tyler?
Yeah, whatever you want. We can figure that out,
Because Tyler is going to be doing the merchandising and inventory, along with Sloan.
Well, so this is more for like tea time. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I say inventory, our inventory is tea time inventory.
Okay.
Sorry, not the birds and golf balls. But we still have Tyler, in that regard.
Yeah, to Sean's point though, our best relationships there usually have like a bi-weekly call with that inventory specialist, so they can understand, hey, this is coming up at the course, like we have a tournament this weekend, that's why you might be seeing slow play or slow tee times coming in. Understanding what's going on at the local level as far as events in the area, especially like a destination market like this, who's going to be in town, moving the pricing strategy up and down. So bi-weekly calls are usually what you guys are not doing. I would say,
Okay.
with that.
So Kyle, you'll get on that?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
And then we also host your website and, control the booking engine there. Next slide. Appreciate the opportunity to come and speak to the board. I worked with Jeff on and off on your account for years. Figured this slide's important so you all understand the current payment model. So the current payment for all those products that we went through are 3 trade times a day. The first one, just so you know, is for Golf Now platform. I included the load times there. And keep in mind, like, these are just the load times within, our system. So your staff always has the ability to sell any tee time first. Our system will roll to the next available. That's why you might see the hot deals kind of, rolling around day to day. The second trade time, including the load times, is for tee sheet point of sale. The third trade time is for the reservation center for answers. Again, more to come on that at the end of this presentation for you. And then the last is the Golf Now payments credit card processing rates. So we only have 2 rates, card present versus card not present, to make it easy. A lot of credit card companies, they'll kind of woo you with the low rate, but then you jump on board and you'll see the thousands of different rates. And I'm exaggerating, but the rates change based on the type of card, the day, the time, etc. So ours is just based on whether the card was present, in hand to tap or dip. That's a card present rate. Card not present is anything like swiped or charge card on file. So if you have any questions there, you can.
Sean, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Our contract that I have a copy of says we have 5 times.
So look at the days on that. It is confusing. So that's why I tried to just make it a little more clearer on this. So if you look at the one, there's 9:37 Monday through Saturday, and then there's a 10:57 on Sunday. So the way that's grouped, it does look like that, but it's 3.
Okay.
Good question. Next, I've included some stats. So just so you're aware, within a 45-mile radius of Stony Brook, Estero, there's been over $24 million booked online within that, golfing audience around the area. So you account for about 3% of that. So working with the committee and hearing about your all's goals and the CapEx improvements that you all are, trying to get through, if we just get you up to 4% of the market share, that'll find an extra $250,000 easily for you. Currently have about 33,000 customers in your database, 41% opted in for email, almost 7% for text messaging, and then threw in a map, kind of a heat map that shows you where all your golfers book from. So pretty neat to see how it's not just local, this is a national marketing system. That's kind of what we've done for you all. This is kind of where we can go through, these next few slides. Again, Jack and I cover a lot of the courses around Florida. What operators are doing the best now, or what we're trying to promote, is make the phone ring less, so you sell more online, which in turn makes some more money. Reasons to have the phone ring less stress for the staff, better experience. They're able to talk to the golfers in front of the counter, not just ring them up with one of the first tee. More you time, right? Frees up staff to work, give lessons, or get out earlier. Why should you sell more online? Again, better experience for the golfer. It's simple, it's transparent, it's available 24/7. You collect the golfer data, you eliminate lost revenue by requiring like prepaid tee times that prevent no-shows. And you also grow ancillary revenue, right? We work on programs with the golf staff to sell memberships, gift certificates, merchandise, and even that can be online. Now, if you look at the next slide real quick, I went through and just kind of green-lit the areas that you're currently doing online versus the red stoplight X that there's some room to grow. So we can work with your staff on that and build a strategy to line up to whatever goal you need. Next, get into some rates. So how do we talk about making some more money? So back to kind of the dynamic pricing strategy. If you look at this rate recommendation based on a $109 rate, here's a phone rate, walk-up rate, right, based on 18 holes, twilight, 9 holes. Next is kind of the dynamic pricing strategy. So 1 to 4 players online, Monday through Thursday, 69 to 109. And that system will price based on hourly utilization. So if the hour is busy, rate stays high. If the hour is slow, rate will go in to that, lower price point within whatever parameters you set up. Then you can take it a step further and offer, 2 or 4 player specials. We can do, 100% prepaid, foursome specials if you like. And if you look at the next page, like this is what the golfer sees. So, we'll help you with the strategy. Christine can jump in too, but as you can see from the consumer side, which we're all consumers, this is how it would, look on the front end of golf now. So for this example, the 1110 tee time, it's got a prepaid 2-player promotion at $84 a player. There's your online rate of $89. And then if you want to get creative, another situation with Duffy's, there's a $104 rate of golf margaritas and tacos. So just to show you kind of what we can do together on the back end and what the golfer would see. Next, just to review this real quickly, you got to have the buy-in from the staff. So, create a 1-sentence statement for your staff about, why prioritizing the online channel is better. We can put the message in front of the golfers as well. Update your touch points from your phone tree, your website booking engine, your no-show cancellation policy, and then you all just got to commit to it. So again, just setting this up to kind of level up, right, and get better. Included some sample scripts for you as well. Like this is the why statement for the staff. We're prioritizing the online channel so that you answer fewer phone calls and improve the in-person customer experience. And then here's for the golfers, right? Our best rates are always found online, so that making tee times easier, faster, and available 24/7 days a week. You can put some dynamic pricing, verbiage up there too. That just the more we can educate the golfers, the more they know what's going on as they, book before they get on site, obviously the better.
We used to get a lot of pushback in that, probably 5, 6, 7 years ago on the dynamic pricing front, but the industry has really come around on that. Like, the golfers aren't spooked by it anymore. They understand it. Golfers are pretty savvy consumers themselves, and they understand, they see it around other industries as well. A lot of them have their business hats on and can understand why the course is doing it too. So not a lot of pushback from golfers on the dynamic front over the last 4 years.
You get golfers who will wait, hoping there'll be dynamic pricing?
That's the game you gotta play, like, there's so much demand for golf, especially in this market. The golfers don't have time to wait. Now in summer, different story, but again, like, you have control of all the pricing strategy. So some golf courses, they'll slowly raise rate, before it expires to kind of, promote earlier bookings. So the world's kind of your oyster based on how you want to, put it together, so to speak. Next, as far as scripts goes too, make sure your phone tree is set up to promote, hey, book a tee time, visit our website, right? Get some kind of out of that phone channel, more to the online area, as well as the website too. Pro shop signage, card stickers, etc. Now, the last tie-in is more on how to get, more eyeballs to your tee time page. So I'll kick it over to Jack to talk Spotlight.
Yeah, so if you guys can see on this screenshot, this is a front end of a golf house search for the Bradenton, Florida area. So you'll notice that all of the golf courses show up in closest of proximity to that search. So when I search Bradenton, Florida on Thursday, May 9th, that's going to bring up all my tee times for that specific date in order from the city center of Bradenton. So you're only really as good as where the golfer is searching compared to how you know what they're searching around here. So if they're searching Estero, you guys are probably going to populate pretty heavy. If they're searching Fort Myers Beach, probably not so much. You guys are going to be down the list there. So Spotlight, you'll see here at Esplanade at Azario Lakewood Ranch, is our new program where you think of like Facebook ads or Google ads or anything like that to get to the top of the search. That is what our Spotlight program is. So you'll notice here that Esplanade at Azario Lakewood Ranch is very small in the screenshot, but it's actually 12 miles away from that Bradenton City Center, while Terracea is only 3, populated right under that. So they literally list as the crow flies from the closest of proximity to that search. Also think about that's just a geographical search that somebody's doing. A lot of the time people on Golf Now have their phones out, right? And they're just doing courses near me. So wherever your population densities are in your area, that's where you want to make sure that, hey, you're showing up good in search there, closest to proximity. Hey, if I'm down the list, I might want to check out Spotlight, you know? So just as you guys being a partner, this is capped in the area. We're only going to, I believe, is it 5 courses kind of in this little Fort Myers corridor? With that, because obviously those courses are going to be in a carousel at the top of the page in rotation. And if you put all the courses on Golf Now in that carousel, they're not getting any exclusivity, or they're not getting the impressions in the page views that we want to push to. So, any questions on the Spotlight program?
What courses do you have in it around here?
Salt Leaf, I know probably that's the one that comes to mind. Sean's a little bit more of the local ones.
Magnolia Landing. Hibiscus just joined a few weeks ago. Lakewood Country Club, part of June. So if y'all are interested, we can take a conversation, offline and give you some different quotes for that. So
If you could meet up and talk with Kyle and Tyler, and then we can discuss it at the next meeting?
Yeah.
That would be great.
So Spotlight, we're not currently utilizing, and it would be an additional fee.
Right. Yep.
But we're currently not paying a fee, right? We're doing a barter system.
Correct.
And so would that be an additional barter on our end or fee on our end?
Let me give you some different options on the program. We might be able to look at just like, we might be able just to add additional trade out of season, so it doesn't dip into any in-season, tee times. But Jack and I can work on some options for you that fit your golf facility here.
Thank you.
So then just finally to recap this presentation, so obviously raise the phone rate to kind of allow that dynamic pricing system to do its thing. Recommend the prepaid rate sets so that golfers pay at the time of booking versus paying at the counter to reduce no-shows and protect your tee sheet, especially since the high demand. Jack and I will get you information on the Spotlight program, and then we'll talk more smart play, probably offline with the golf shop staff. That's more for like online check-in and pay, or on-course F&B ordering, or as golfers book their tee times online, they also could, add golf balls or range balls or shows to the transaction. So more to come there.